The Mudlarks were 18th, 19th century people, really the poorest of the poor. They were of all ages, young children, older people, who were eking out a living, finding scrap on the Thames foreshore and selling it for tiny amounts of money, maybe fourpence a day. And the tide would go out once or twice a day. They'd have a finite period of time to spend in the river, and they would look for things like copper rivets, bits of coal, even bits of scrap wood. And they were taking these, really desultory items and selling them to just about survive.
You're a mudlark, but you're a mudlark with an art history degree from Bristol, and you work for Christie's in the education department, and you're a landscape historian. So when you find things, you know what their provenance is.
That's right. Mudlarking nowadays isn't quite what it used to be. Today, and maybe for the past half century or a little bit longer, mudlarking has been a way of getting in touch with London's past. In my book, I have everything from a piece of worked flint, which is maybe 6,000 years old, through to Roman pottery, clay tobacco pipes, everything up to the present day. So the River Thames is incredibly bounteous in what it presents, and the stories that can be told from all the things that are available for finding there are really infinite. It's incredibly exciting.
It's called London in Fragments, and that's what you find, little fragments of pottery, stone, shells, bits and pieces, little tiny things. And it's beautifully written, I have to say, and beautifully illustrated. It's a joy to read. It's really very entertaining, which surprised me, as well as being informative. And it's a history of London through these little things you find.
Shall I show it to you?
Yeah.
So what we have here is a piece of Chinese porcelain. You can see it's got this wonderful pure whiteness to it, and a very faint bit of decoration there.
How can you possibly tell that's Chinese?
Well, because it's porcelain. So if it were a different material, you'd probably say that it was English or possibly imported from Europe.
A lot of the finds have to do with trade, don't they?
Yes. I thought that was very interesting. As I came to write the book, it's not the direction that I intended to take. So the Romans set up London as a trading town, and trade has endured ever since, and it has made London what it is.
So the bits and pieces you've chosen for the book are obviously your favourites.
Yes.
Tell us about some of them.
Okay, well, one of my real favourites is a small piece of green glass with dimples on it. It's called a raspberry prunt, and it's from a Rummer, which is a German wine glass. And these raspberry prunts would have gone round the stem, maybe 10, 20, 30 of them. And they're incredibly tactile. I mean, they have to do absolutely with trade. It wasn't possible to make this sort of glass in England. It was imported from Germany or the Low Countries. And the prunts had a decorative purpose. They're gorgeous, and this one individual one feels amazing now. But also they had a practical purpose. These glasses were used before forks were widely adopted, and people had rather greasy hands at dinner. A prunt on your wine glass meant that your glass wasn't going to slip out of your hand when you were drinking wine over dinner.
Very interesting. These houses are Georgian, so there must be something Georgian here, mustn't there?
Yes, absolutely. Wherever there are people, there are things to be found. So if we have a look around...
Is that worth anything? What's that?
This is a small piece of pottery. There's not
Completely
a lot
plain and boring.
on it, but if we take a look over here, this is a piece of pipe clay, and if you hold it up, you actually see this is not a pipe stem, it is a wig curler. Half of a wig curler. You see how it's not hollow, and it has this...
Possibly tell that's a wig curler.
Well, it's...
Mind you, I don't know what a wig curler looks like.
It's a particularly unique shape. It's sort of hourglass shaped if it were complete. And what it would be used for is rolling up a Georgian wig at night time, often with newspaper around it. You'd heat this up, you'd roll the hair in it, and there'd be, tens of them around the wig, and it would make the curls really crisp and sharp.
How
for the
cool
morning.
is that?
It's really cool. It's absolutely fantastic.
And do you find
Would
those
you like
often?
to have it?
I'd love it, thank you. You don't really do this for the sake of finding something valuable, do you? You don't really care about the value. You don't find coins, for example.
You're absolutely right. I don't do it for value. I do it primarily because of the connection that finding something old gives me to individuals or to London past generally. I think the ability to come down to the river And the fact that anyone can do that, can just walk in an area of London that's hidden most of the time, buried under meters of water, and then bend down and pick something up that no one has touched for 300-400 years is just exceptional. And the fact that that is open to anyone, the fact that what you find is beautiful and has this connection to history, those are the reasons why I do it, not for value.
Okay, I'm going to find something else.
There's a nice old vodka bottle.
You must find an awful lot of rubbish.
What's really interesting, particularly in central London, is that ancient rubbish far outnumbers modern.
Really?
So, yes, very, very much so. So you do not see an awful lot of plastic waste. What you find are things that last. Ceramics. Look, there's a crab.
Dead crab.
You find ceramics, you find bottles,